Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Thank you for joining us once again on this series on arpeggios on guitar. We've talked about triads, and now we're into four-note arpeggios, major sevenths, minor sevenths, dominant sevenths, things like that. So we're going to start off on page 18 of a PDF. Now, the PDF link is in the YouTube description down below, so please take a second to download that, and you can have that out in front of you as we're going through this together. So if you haven't watched the things previous to this, check out those other arpeggio lessons. That will help you get familiar with what we've been up to. And we're about 3/4 the way through this series, and just trying to teach you everything I can about arpeggios. I'm a professional guitarist here in Nashville, Tennessee, and arpeggios are such a foundational issue to what we do, and so I thought it deserves some time and effort. So there you go. Take a look at page 18. Now on page 17, last time we talked about having our arpeggios. We were doing these in the 7th position, these four-note arpeggios. In the key of C, it would be C, E, G, C major 7th, D minor 7th. And we just worked our way up from there. C major 7th, D minor 7th, E minor 7th. And you can practice them like that, which is kind of, it's okay, but it's kind of like doing scales up and down. It really doesn't put them in a musical context. So on page 17, we talked about some licks, where we add some a half step below it, and we turn it into a triplet. And then we spun out of it different ways. Kind of turns it into a jazz lick. Then we turned it down a different way. It's just a little way to use that arpeggio in a more musical situation. So I wanted to take those ideas and put them into a few more licks. So let's look at page 18. So here we're going to do a common jazz lick, which is a 2 minor to a 5/7 to a 1. If I was in the key of C, it'd be a D minor 7th, G7, and a C major 7th. So let me see if I can get a little practice track going here. And we will practice that with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so there's our little practice loop. If I played this first lick for you, it would be like this. Okay, so let me pause that for a second. What is that lick? Okay, this is the first one on page 18. I'm here in the 5th position, and I'm doing a D minor 7th. Right up through nothing fancy about that at all, a D minor 7th arpeggio. Then I walk down the scale. Just walk down. And I end up on the 3rd of the C major 7th. So this is a good lick to use if in many jazz songs these 2/5/1s come with 2 beats each. This is a lick that would fit into that. So you have 2 beats of D minor, 2 beats of G7, 2 beats of C major 7th, or 4 beats of C major 7th. So pulling off to this B, which lands me on a strong note on the G7, which is its 3rd. Landing me again on the 3rd, a strong note of that C major 7th. So it's a classic lick. All right, now you can learn it right there. I've got it written in the 5th position. But if you're what I like to do is put it on different string sets. So here's the D is on the 3rd string. What if I play that same lick with the D on the 4th string? So that gets me up here, and I'm doing a lick that's like this. See, it's the same lick. I'm just playing it up here in the 9th and 10th position. Well, what if I did a D on the 5th string? That would be, that's a little awkward doing it that way. What if I put my pinky on the 5th string? Hey, that works pretty well. What What if I did it on the 6th string? So I've taken one lick and I've used it now in 4 different places on the neck. So whenever I find myself in an area where I need to play a lick like that, I've got it in a bunch of different places. So that's how I would encourage you to look to check out the fingerings of a lick. So here's the basic lick: 3rd finger, 2nd finger, 1st finger, pinky, pull off to the G or to the B, and ending up on that 1st finger. Well, what if it's an E minor to an A7th to a D major 7th? Sure, no problem. Put my 3rd finger on the E and I just do it up here. So let me get my my track going again here. Here's the lick. What if I did it up here? What if I slid into it? What if I did some more stuff after it? So just another lick that you can put into your repertoire in using 2, 5, 1 and using an arpeggio. Let's take a look at the second one. The second one, instead of ascending through the arpeggio, I decided to descend. So what are we doing in this one? Well, let's see. This one is still 2, 5, 1, but I slide from the G sharp up to the A. There's the D minor 7th arpeggio. Slide down again to the 3rd of the G7, ending up on the C of the C major 7. So this time, instead of starting on the root of the minor 2 minor, I'm starting on its 5th. So if I was playing an E minor 7th to a D major 7th, it would be... It's just a cool little lick. Again, then I would go, well, is there a way I could... That's a little bit awkward if I put it on another string set. What if I did this? Well, that works. Again, I've got 4 different places I could transpose that lick, just using different finger patterns for it. All right, so let's turn on our track again here. And now I'll play the second lick. What if I did another octave? Hey, I just tied them both together. Idea, just a thought of how you could use it. Take a look at the next one. The next line down there, we get into licks that involve 5/7 to a 1, maybe a G7 to a C major 7. So let's get another track going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's that track. Let's talk about the lick first. The first one is I'm back in the 3rd position, and I'm going to go up the G7th triad, starting on the 3rd. Actually, I do go up to the 9th there, which would be like a B minor 7 flat 5. Remember how over a dominant 7th, I can jump to its 3rd and play the minor 7 flat 5? And I'm climbing my way back down to the C. Okay, so let's see how that sounds with our track. did that on another string set. So if I did it maybe up here. Oh, what if I did what if I lowered it an octave? It's gonna get a little low. Let's try that. Okay, so just different ways. What if that's a little high. What if I did that? 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just another option. It sounds rather plain, though. It's rather a rather bland lick as licks go. Hey, but look at the next one. I start off the same way. This time I do a G7 arpeggio. That one kind of throws in this G, flat 9, sharp 9 sort of a lick. Okay, so let's hear how that one sounds. So twist the ear kind of a little bit different way. Another way to use arpeggios as building blocks, as little seed ideas for your soloing. So I gave you 4 little ways to envision them. Not that you have to learn all 4 of those or all of that, but I want you to kind of understand what's happening. I climb up an arpeggio or I climb down an arpeggio, and then I walk around, usually scale-wise, in the opposite direction toward a tonic note of the next chord. So that's kind of the idea. So learn those, learn them in different string sets, and you've got, between the 4 of those, you got 16 different things that you could play using those different licks. And then I would go to a jazz standard, and I would open up the reel book and turn on a track, or just go to YouTube and turn on a track for, Autumn Leaves or How High the Moon or something like that, and try out these licks in different keys and see if you can learn how to bounce these licks around. A good way to use arpeggios. All right, so I've given you some ideas of how to use the arpeggios. Now let's shift gears back again. The initial exercise that we were talking about was up here in the 7th position, and I was doing this. That was what all of this was based off of, was that shape. Well, let's look at what the root is. The root is a C. So all of this C major 7th, D minor 7th, E minor 7th, F major 7th, all that sort of stuff is based around this C. This C with our 2nd finger on the 6th string. I want you to pay attention to what the root is doing. It's the 2nd finger on the 6th string. All of this is based in that position. All of that is just right here. Well, what I want to talk about tonight is I can take that same concept of building, the harmonized major scale, the major 7th, minor 7, 1 major, 2 minor, 3 minor, that sort of stuff. I can do that same concept, but if I start it with another root, I end up with a whole different array of patterns. So flip over to page 19. Flip over to page 19. We talked about this last time. Here it is. Here is the arpeggios. They're all written out there for you in the key of C with the CB on the 6th string with the 2nd finger. So that's what that was. We talked about that last time. Flip over now. With that in mind, look at page 21. What if I put my root not with my 2nd finger, but what if I put it with my 1st finger, and I built them all off of that? Well, that would put us then in the key of B. Okay, not a very common key, but it's just as valid. So then I would have a B major 7th, C sharp minor 7th, D sharp minor 7th, E major 7th, F sharp 7, G sharp minor 7th, A sharp minor 7 flat 5, and B major 7. So I'm just going up the same pattern that I did in C. This time it's in B. And I end up with a different set of arpeggios. So take a look at the first one. Page 21, B major 7. Now, let me just stop you right now. I don't expect you to learn all of these, in one setting. This is a lot of arpeggios and a lot of concepts, but the payoff is huge. So I want you to kind of begin to look at this mountain and what it can do. If I can do them all in B major, and then what would the next one be? Well, it'll be C sharp minor. What if I did a D sharp minor? I'm still staying in the 7th position here. What if I did E major 7 would be the next one? Well, if I started it low, F sharp 7th. Yeah. There you go. I don't often do an F sharp 7 arpeggio. Then we have a G sharp minor. We have this little A sharp diminished, or A sharp minor 7th flat 5. Look at this one. D flat, or a B flat minor 7 flat 5. So I did all of them in the key of B. Don't panic. I want you to just see the concept. There I did every arpeggio, major 7th, minor 7th, dominant 7th, even a half diminished in there, starting with the root on the 6th string, first finger. I just did them in C with my root on the 2nd finger. Well, if I scoot up, you don't usually do arpeggios starting on the 3rd finger. So we're just going to skip that one because it's just not very useful. You don't do arpeggios that way. So, but the next one I come across would be a D with my pinky. Okay, so if I did the root here, then I end up with this. A D major 7th. Now I would have to do an E minor 7th. Hey, that's the same E minor shape that was in the C major 7th arpeggios with the root on the 2nd finger. But here, I'm using it as the E minor 7th when I'm doing it in the key of D. Same arpeggio. F sharp minor. G major 7th. A 7th, B half diminished, or B minor, C sharp half diminished. Do you see what I did there? So therefore I've done all the arpeggios with the 6th string root with my 1st finger, 2nd finger, we skipped the 3rd, we did the 4th. If I scooted up and did it with in E flat, it would be the same as the ones in D. So that's basically I covered every possibility on the 6th string. What if I did it the same ones, do all the arpeggios still in the 7th position but I'm going to do them in E major now. So it'd be E major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, and I do all of that. F sharp minor, same one we just did in the other scale. So a lot of them start repeating. G sharp minor, same one we just did. A major, B7. Okay, so then I did them from there. What if I did it with my 2nd finger? I skipped the 3rd. What if I did them with my 4th finger? I moved down to the 4th string. What if I did them with that root? What if I did them with that root? If I do all of those, which ends up being 7 sets of these arpeggios, I will have done every major 7th, minor 7th, dominant 7th, and half diminished with any finger combination, and I could do them in any key. Let me say that again. If I do that exercise that I just taught you, I wrote out 2 of the sets here. I wrote it out with the 1st finger on the 6th string and 2nd finger on the 6th string, the B major and the C major. If I continue that on all the way through down to the 4th string, 2nd finger, I will have covered every possible finger combination of a major seventh, a minor seventh, a dominant seventh, and a half diminished on any string combination. So do you see what we did there? Once you do that exercise, you will not be stumped on any arpeggio anywhere on the neck in any key, because you will have an arpeggio that it works for that finger in that key. It is a very helpful, long 3 months of trying to do that kind of exercise, but I wanted you to understand the concept. Okay, so that's what I did there. I just wrote out 2 of them. Maybe if I get some time over the coming weeks, I'll write out the others as well, just so you have them. But I want you to think about the concept of what I just told you. Okay, basically, I'm doing those 4-note arpeggios through the harmonized major scale, 1 major 7, 2 minor 7, 3 minor 7, 4 major 7. I did them on the first finger, 6th string, second finger, 6th string, 4th finger, 6th string, 5th string, 1st finger, 2nd finger, 4th string, 1st and 2nd. You don't need anything past that because it starts repeating. Okay, so let me show you what that does. And they all start overlapping, so it's not like you're having to learn, 50 different arpeggio shapes, because they overlap quite a bit. Hey, Steve, let's play a C major 7th arpeggio, starting with the 6th string pinky. So I find the C, and I'm going to play a C major 7th arpeggio. What if I chose maybe a C major 7th arpeggio with the 1st finger on the 5th string? So there's the C, okay. What if, hey Steve, can you play it with the 2nd finger? Sure. There's the C major 7th there, so that would shift me down here. Well, can you play a D minor with the 4th finger on the 6th string? No problem. Can you play it with the 1st finger on the 6th string? No problem. What about the 2nd finger on the 5th string? Have to think about that one. First finger on the 5th string. What if I wanted a D7? Can you play a D7th arpeggio with, the 1st finger on the 6th string? Sure. Do you see how it doesn't stump me anymore, because I've got a finger combination for anything you're going to be able to throw at me, whether if it's got a root on the 6th, 5th, or the 4th string. Do you see the payoff? It's really huge there. All right, so I wanted to just introduce that concept to you. So I've gave you some licks, and then we've gone through the arpeggios in C major 7th, C major, D minor. This is on page 19, E minor, F major, G7, A minor, B minor 7th or B half diminished, minor 7 flat 5. Okay, there I've done them all. And then I've also showed you the family in B, starting on page 21. B major, C sharp minor, D sharp minor or E flat minor, E major, major 7, F sharp 7, G sharp minor, A sharp minor 7 flat 5, which would be, and then you're back to B major 7th again. A lot of arpeggios, I know, but the payoff is huge. You get any major 7th, any minor 7th, multiple ways to play them, dominant seventh, and a half diminished in any key anywhere on the neck using any finger. So there you go. There's the payoff. I'll try and write some more of them out for next time, but in the meantime, there's a lot of forms for you to use and some licks that you can throw in those as well. Learn all you can. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Keep up the great work in your learning. We'll see you guys next time.